Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do a little disassembly and maintenance on a very weird little knife right here. This is the Monterey Bay Knives EWC. This literally just arrived on my table last night. And it's a strange knife in that it is non-locking. There is no locking component to this knife, yet it's not a front flipper, it's like a back flipper of some variety, but all flippers are back. Look, either way, it's weird. So we're going to take it apart and see how it works. Let's see here, just to check, centering is right on, and there is, well, vertical play doesn't make a lot of sense in a slip joint, right? And horizontal play, none of it. So let's go ahead and dive in here. I'm going to try and take it apart from the show side, for lack of better options. Is this working? Yeah, it is. Okay, hey, cool. All right, I made the right decision. There's always the lottery, right? Because usually there's a bar, and usually there's a, that is a bolt, and there's a hole there. So, that's nice. But, yeah, let's go ahead and pop this in. And well, pop that out, I suppose, is probably the term. And then pop this guy out as well. And that should give us access to the inside of the knife. Okay, get the blade out of play here and then just lift off this CF scale. Part of the reason I wanted to do this from the show side is because I can see that there is a liner on the other side there. This is a time when I'm going to use my little spudger tool here, just to kind of get up under there and lift things off gently. If you're ever curious about any of the tools I'm using, just go to nickshabazz.com/tools, and I will regale you there with a video featuring every last damn tool I use, more or less. All right, so let's go ahead and pop this guy off. It's feeling a little bit wedged in the back here, so I'll just keep using the spudger here, and I'm just kind of torquing a little bit, rocking back and forth, rocking back and forth. Come on, back and forth, bro. All you need to do is pop loose. I'm the human. I will win this. Don't fight me, bro. There we go. And now we are popped off. What the heck? Oh, it's the stop pin is wedged in there. That's why. Okay, so what we can see here is actually some interesting construction. We have ourselves a captive ceramic set of bearings. We have a lock bar with a detent ball. The detent ball is reasonably prominent and whatnot. We have a blade with some lubrication of some variety. And then on this side we have a single bearing race there. All right, let's go ahead and clean off the inside of this guy. This knife, so look, I haven't spent, more than, I think I carried it for 2 hours last night, and I didn't do that, well, actually, I popped open a bunch of boxes. Anyways, I digress. I haven't spent much time with this knife, but what I will say immediately is that I like the cut of this knife's jib, so to speak, because it is different. It is something a little unusual, both in its opening mechanism, in its slip jointitude. I feel like this is, I talk all the time about why knives, right? Like, why did you make this? What good are you doing the world by producing this particular piece? And the question is always, well, why? And this guy is unique enough that I feel like it clears its orbit, so to speak, because it will be compelling to people who live in a place where non-locking is the law of the land. I'm using just a isopropyl alcohol here to clean this off. You can see there is some sharpness to the machining, like right here on this angle here, but that's not super relevant to the end user, except during disassembly, and that's not super common. Anyways, no steel labeling, which I'm not a big fan of, but yeah, right? Yeah, no steel labeling, and holy jimping Batman. Anyways, what was I even saying there? But this is going to be useful to folks who live in an area where non-locking has to be a thing. It's going to be useful to folks who just want a cool knife, a very fidgetable knife, and that is absolutely a fidgetable knife. And I don't feel like it has, at least at first blush, and again, talk to me once I've done my review, I don't feel like this has a lot of the deficiencies that a conventional slip joint does, just because when you hold it, it's relatively steady in the hand. I may change my tune entirely. If you, listen in, 2 hours or whatever it is to my actual review, When that goes live, I may be singing an entirely different freaking tune here. But for the moment, I'm actually pretty... I feel like it's a slip joint. And by the way, this is interesting. You can see that there are two detent ball holes. There's a detent ball hole here, and there's one over here. That's how all of this works, is that this detent ball basically slides. When it's locked open, it's over here. When it's locked closed, it's over here. Is that the geometry? Yeah, it is. No, it's over here. Either way. Look, that's how the whole damn thing works. Anyways, so that's sort of the... that's one of the things I'm excited about here, is this is just a little different. And you know what? It would probably help if I installed a bearing. This is one of those things that's, conventional knives tend to run a little bit better when you include a bearing or washer there. When you remove them, they tend to run very poorly. You get things like centering issues and people yelling at you from, YouTube. Oh my God, Nick, put in a bearing, put in the bearing. Because they see that you're an idiot before you see that you're an idiot. Anyways, if you caught that there, good job on you. I'm going to go ahead and drop in that bearing there. Using some 10-weight nano oil here. All right, pop that in. Now, next step is going to be to get this guy... I'm going to try and secure the pivot first, because in this, well, actually in any position, the lock bar is under tension and pressing the knife away, so to speak. So what I'm going to do here is... but I kind of want to seat these back parts as well, so I may just have to do this as one kind of concerted. That's seated. Well, that's seated. Okay, that was easier than I expected. But what I am going to do is use some thread locker here. So I'm going to reach over here, grab my Loctite, and I'm just holding some pressure down on this, because right now the lock bar is wanting to lift the blade up and kind of disassemble the knife for me. So I'm going to use some thread locker here. It is originally not thread locked, it looks like, which is a beautiful thing. Or maybe if there is, it's low-key. Come on. This is one of those times where it would be very helpful to be an octopus in this business, Oh, come off it. Don't freaking fight me. I will win this. I keep saying that, but it doesn't make me more confident that I will, right? There we go. Come on, pop in. There we go. Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay, we were good. Here, I'll try this approach. I swear to God. People, you need to get a better reviewer. Seriously. If I lack fine motor skills, All right. Thread lock is still on there. Is this actually like T9? Is that what's going on here? This might actually be T9. But for the moment, I'm just going to content myself with getting this guy roughly cranked down together. Getting the stop pin in place and whatnot. Being careful not to over-tighten, but, just that way it's out of play, so to speak. It does look like... Is that true? Yes. Okay. One thing I've just noticed is that the screws are not actually symmetrically sized, meaning that the small screw goes in the back hole there. So we are going to go on ahead and make sure we do that. That is, by the way, why I use a disassembly mat that has multiple slots, because I just instinctually will take the screws out and place them in the order that they were placed on, that they were taken out of the knife, so to speak, from front to back, and that way there's just not an ambiguity there. Don't know entirely why that's different, but it is certainly a thing, so we'll go ahead and live with it, right? Here we go. Pop this in. Beautiful. All right, where we at? Blade play. There is some blade play, so I need to adjust the pivot a little bit more. That's not a shock, but, action is good to go. The centering is actually slightly favoring the show side, which actually usually means that I have a little more tension I need to add to a little tiny bit of play. So I'll tighten the pivot down just a little bit more here. It's a little weird to adjust a knife that's fundamentally different from everything else that you're doing in your regular life. This is more or less dead nuts on, centering-wise, but let me more or less dead nuts on. That's not a thing, by the way. But what I'm doing there is I'm just releasing these two back ones now that the pivot is at the proper tightness, and then tightening them again. And we are pretty much, I think we're about there. Okay, beautiful. Only downside of lubricating the dead ball path is that although the action got smoother, it's actually a little easier to disengage the lock bar. Or, well, it's not a lock at all. There's not a lock bar. Guys, I'm broken. I'm broken just generally. You can say this, right? But no, the bar here that has a detent bar, the detent bar, if you will, it gets a little easier to disengage. Oh, man, that's kind of a cool action. But aside from that, though, it's running a little smoother, which is nice, and it's all cleaned up and ready for review. And in fact, it's going into my pocket today because I'm kind of excited to give this guy a shot. It's nice to be excited by something, and, you know, one of the best ways to do that is by trying something new and different. So anyways, there you go. I hope you found this exciting, and that you enjoyed my wishing that I was an octopus, and most of all, that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.